Hello, I'm Sahiti. Welcome to First Academy. This video is the first in our Duolingo series. The aim is to help you score at least a 150 in the Duolingo English test. In this session, we're going to discuss 3 different image questions from the Duolingo English test and how to score at least a 150. These 3 questions test you for different skills, but they're all based on an image. Let's look at the easiest of all. This is where an image is presented to you and you're supposed to give an English word representing the image in 3 seconds. Let's look at how this question type looks in the exam. As you see, the screen reads, "Speak the English word for each image." Let's look at the first picture. What do you see? Yes, you're right. This is a tooth. This is an easy one, isn't it? Let's see the next one. Some might call it a dog. You could also call it a golden retriever if you want to be specific. But now, which one is the right answer? Both are. Let's look at the third one. This is slightly challenging. What is it? You could call it a weighing scale or a balance. There is no one right answer for these questions. As the test progresses, the questions get more challenging in the exam. The exam starts with easy questions and then becomes more and more difficult. For example, the dog, the tooth were the easy ones and the weighing scale slightly challenging one. Now look at this particular image. Any guesses what it is? This is a shrimp or a prawn. What is it that you have to remember in the exam? For starters, that you have just 3 seconds, which means that you need to be fast. Remember that the next question is going to be more difficult than the previous one. So keep calm. Just give a word or a short phrase or 2 or 3, but DET is not looking for a sentence. Do not worry if one of the words is wrong. One wrong answer will not have a serious effect on your score. What do you think are the problems candidates face in the test? Let's look at an image. What do you see in this image? Some of us might notice a lot of things. For example, I see wheels, mirrors, a windshield. Remember, you're not asked for details. You're not asked for a sentence. It's just a word. So what does the picture represent? I'm sure you would agree with me when I say a truck. This brings us to another issue, cultural difference. If you are American, then you would call it a truck. But if you are a Brit, then you would call it a lorry. So which is the right answer? It does not matter. As long as the words are in English and you don't call it a bus or a van, we are good. Along with the right word, correct pronunciation is very important. Each word should be clearly pronounced. Any mispronunciation can lead to a low score. Let's take a very simple word, C-H-E-F. What would you call it? A chef or a chef? It's not a chef, it's a chef. Let's take another word, C-A-C-H-E. Usually people call it cachet, but it is just cash. Espresso. It's an espresso and not an espresso. And how about a hotel room? Do you call it a suite or a suite? The right pronunciation is a suite. Let's summarize this particular question type. It tests you on your word choice. Do you have to think for words? Or can you use words without hesitation? Remember, you just have 3 seconds. There is no time to hesitate. This question type tests your pronunciation. Can you clearly pronounce individual words or not? This brings us to the next question type, where you are asked to write 1 or more sentences that describe the image. Look at this sample image. You could pause the video for a while if you want to have a good look. You should remember that you have 1 minute and you will have to write at least one sentence. You're allowed to write more, but of course, one good sentence is better than several bad ones. You could write a complex sentence. Complex sentences need not be long. For instance, write while you can. It's a complex sentence, but still short. Let's go back to the image and do some practice. What do you see in the image? I see two surgeons. They are doing an operation. That doesn't sound right, is it? How about we see two surgeons and they are operating on a patient? This sentence also seems a little inadequate. So let's say the setting is that of an operation theatre where two surgeons seem to be performing a procedure on a patient. Let's look at our answer. This sentence is a long, complex sentence. It includes the operation theatre, the two surgeons, the procedure on a patient, all the elements in one sentence. Try and use complex sentences to improve your score. Further, the sentence is well punctuated. It starts with a capital letter, ends with a full stop. Punctuation is very important when you're writing a sentence. Don't forget capitalization. Don't forget a comma. Don't forget the full stop. There is no doubt that the sentence has to be grammatically correct. But another thing that I would like you to notice about this answer is the appropriate word choice. We haven't used the word doctors, we call them surgeons. A better word given what they are doing. We did not call the setting a hospital, we called it an operation theatre. So here we are being more specific. We did not say they're doing an operation. We used the word performing, a more appropriate verb. We use the phrase performing a procedure. It shows that we can use words which are appropriate in the given context. In our case, the medical context. This particular question type is testing our grammar. Can you create grammatically correct sentences or not? Are your sentences basic? Can you construct complex compound structures? Can you use punctuation? Another point is word choice. Can you think of an appropriate word which shows your control on the language? Can you use the right word form? Are your spellings right? We've reached the last question type. The third question type is where you have to speak about an image for at least 30 seconds. You are initially given 20 seconds to prepare. This is the most difficult image question in the DET test. Let's look at the image. You could pause the video if you want to have a good look. In the 20 seconds that are given to you, you should think of words that you would use. Precise word choice could help improve your score. Remember, Duolingo does not allow you to make notes. Let's look at the image again and see what words you can think of. A burial ground, a cemetery, cremation, funeral, last rites, burying, laid side by side, a coffin, a crypt, a tombstone. Vocabulary alone is not sufficient. You need to speak for 30 seconds. You need about 100 words. 30 seconds is the minimum time. The total time given to you is 1.5 minutes. So you can speak for about 1 minute or 1 minute 15 seconds. A structure to follow can help you speak at length. You can start with an introduction, what the image is about. For example, here you could say, the setting is of a burial ground, or we are looking at a cemetery. Second, you focus on the details. What do you say? How many people are there? What's their position? What are they doing? What time of the day is it? You can infer from the diagram. What you should not do is add information which is not there in the image. Let's listen to an answer which is 160 worthy.
The image shows some activity taking place in a cemetery. There are a couple of people, with shovels and wheelbarrows, engaged in digging graves, probably in preparation for an upcoming burial. The fact that there are two people at work, one who has almost finished, and one who is waiting to begin, indicates that there might be two people who have passed away at the same time. The overgrown grass and the uneven mounds of foliage is a clear sign of the cemetery not being regularly maintained. Perhaps because the site does not see many visitors.
This answer is 94 words long, and the answer used some of the words which we already discussed. The sentences state observations and the writer's inference of what the diagram means, such as two people have passed away. Not many people visited this place. To present inference, words such as might and perhaps have been used. Common phrases from the answer you could reuse in your task include: the image shows, the picture indicates that, this is a clear sign. Apart from word choice and sentence structure, which we spoke about earlier, this question type is testing your fluency. Can you frame a coherent answer? Do you search for language as you speak? To add to this, pronunciation is also important. It's no longer just pronouncing a word. DET is checking whether you can maintain subtle pronunciation features in your speech. Can you intonate? Do you know where to use stress? Is your speech intelligible? Finally, how do you prepare for this? Check out the link in the description and you will find exercises to help you practice. You can also contact us if you want an expert to evaluate your answers and give you a detailed feedback. So now you know what to do, where to practice, and how to get evaluated. So, happy learning!